Today, we start tearing this thing apart. All right, keys in. Focus. And she's dead. So if you saw in the last video, I pretty much have everything I need to really start putting this thing together. So the first thing we're doing is running it up to the car wash. We're going to get it clean. We're going to get the trunk clean. We're going to get everything clean. I like working on clean things. I have enough dirt in my life. I don't need it in my personal life. So, emotional damage. Anyhow, so we're going to run up to Charlie's because they got it's an automatic, but they do a really good job. Undercarriage also. And they got free vacuums and they're really good. So yeah, it might cost me a little more money, but at the same time, it's a good deal for what I need it to do. So I'm gonna run up there and we'll get this done, get the car vacuumed out, and then we'll just go from there. Now we'll sneak over to the vacuums and get this thing cleaned up. I spilled my soda pop in the car on the way over here, so it's a good thing we're here. It's really not that bad, except it's leaking around some of these edges here, which I think the weather stripping is shot. So yeah, I can see it right there. So it's leaking through there, and I've had this problem since I bought the car. Other than that, though, it's not too bad. The interior is not in too bad a shape either. Just a quick clean, and then we'll soap all this stuff up. So, yep. Not bad at all. We'll just armor all back here. Now let's get back to the house and actually do some real work. On a bright note, the AC works really well, so I'm happy about that. So now that we're back to the house, here's the first thing. On a side note, the car is shining like a diamond in a goat's ass. I mean, we need to take this off first, and I probably should figure out what all this is, but not today. So I'm going to get this shroud off, and you can see in there, we got to pop these clips, and the headlight will just pop out, and it'll make it a lot easier to change out the light. So now, just pop these up. This thing will come out. We'll get this screw out, and this screw, and this whole light will come off. Well, we did have a little bit of a hiccup, but this is a prime example of why I never throw anything away. Had to rewire it. It had this kind of a plug on it, but the car had this kind of a plug on it. So as you see, neither of them are compatible. So I had to rewire it, but I think it's going to be fine. We just clipped off the ends. I left a little bit of extra on there, and red to red, white to white, black to black. It's all fine. So let's get this back on and move on to the next thing. And there it is. She's all done. Got the new lights put in. Got the covers back on. Gonna turn the light on here. Hey, there you go. She's golden. Now, truthfully, I really didn't want to take the seat out, but we have to get that bolt out. I've got to drill that out, so this won't take but a minute, so let me show you. Just the four, like I showed you earlier, that one's broken. Ordinarily, I wouldn't worry about it, but I need that bolt to hold the console, so let's get this seat out and go from there. Well, there's the seat. There's the hole. And there's where I got a drill in. well, we're going to try this and see if this actually works worth a crap in the car. So put a little WD-40 in that and let's go. I may have to invest in some new drill bits. Well, I got it out, kind of. I think I'm going to have to open it up a little bit, but other than that, yeah, well, I think we're done here, so we can put the console in now. While I have this out, I'm going to run the electrical and the CB antenna. I'm going to run it through that hole, put it under the back seat and through there, but I've got to pull the back seat out. Truthfully, I bought way too much of this, but it fits right in that little slot right there, and I'm going to put the CB antenna in. And we already got it in the car here, so all right, let's get the CB antenna run. All right, so we've got everything put back together. Everything's tight. Console's in. Wires are run. I wish I could have run them under, but it just wasn't happening that way. But I did get them under this. They might be a little long up there, but I can trim this one back if I have to, or even shove it back under the seat. And I can do the same thing with that one. So I think maybe we'll work on the floor, and then I might shut it down for tonight and pick it up in the morning. So it's the next day. We're getting the CB hooked up now first, before we go any further with any of the other craziness. I've got a little Cobra 25 night watch, and the reason I went with this was actually just because of the sheer size. And it's not that I wanted this radio, but something funny kind of happened, and it all just kind of worked out. So let me show you what that was. The way this is set up with these holes here, I can only put these bolts right here. And I could not get this out far enough to do a regular 29. I needed to be about this much further out on both sides. And it was just slightly too short. I probably could have cut this out or dremeled it out a little further, but I really didn't want to. But it's where it needs to be. Well, kind of. I got to tighten it up. And, yeah. But it's going to just screw it down right here. And that right there in the 29 will drop right in that slot, and it'll sit right here just perfect. So I'm glad about that. There's a little trick that a lot of people don't know, and it involves a penny. You have the kind of connectors here that come with the radio. You can use a penny as a screwdriver on these. And it works great if you don't have a screwdriver. So there you go. I'll have to tighten it up here in a bit, but it's where it needs to be. So for all intents and purposes, I haven't mounted. I don't have the power source hooked up to it yet. We're probably going to use this outlet here. But we'll save that for a minute, because we've got to get into the trunk and mount the antenna. So let's go get the antenna, and I'll show you what I got. Pardon the noise today. It's Kansas, it's hot, and it's windy. So let's get into the trunk. So here on the deck lid, this is where we're going to mount it, out of this hole right here. So I've got to peel that off. You see there was another antenna there. I put some silicone on there a while back to keep it from leaking. So I think there's still enough of a gasket that if we put it down there, it should hold. But I may go ahead and put some rubber there anyways. The problem is that in the trunk, this is the size of the hole. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this thing to work, but there's only one way to find out. Well, it looks good on this side, but not here. Yeah, there's no way. So I'm going to have to open this up about like that, which I really don't want to do. I suppose I could put it in one of the other holes, but I don't think my OCD would let me. So let me see what's what, and I'll get back to you. So I have to get my Dremel out and open it up about another ½ inch all the way around at least. So let's see what happens here. I'm gonna have to be real careful not to get it hot. We don't want to blister any paint. So let me I got a Dremel attachment on my cordless, so let's see what happens here. Well, as you can tell by my safety glasses, things changed. I ended up just having to cut it out. I just could not. That Dremel wasn't working well enough, and well, that's what I had. So, yeah, didn't get too hot out here, so I think we should be all right. Trust me, I'm not happy about it either, but there's already 3 holes in the trunk, and this on the inside, well, whatever, it'll be all right. Okay, so we got it put on, and it's put on underneath. I'm gonna have to come in here with a little bit of touch-up paint and cover all this up and clean this up, but I'm gonna have to clean that up for sure. That's hideous. There we are. But as for the rest of this, I'll tuck it up under there and make it neat. So I'm here in the truck. I got some stuff here in the truck I specifically found at a truck stop, so I've got to dig through this pile of crap till I find what I'm looking for, but hopefully it shouldn't take too long. Well, I was actually looking for a couple of things. I found my multimeter, this, and a Rip It. So I needed a good energy drink today. So this little tool's kind of neat. You just it's got push pins. You just push it in, and then you can just plug it right in here. So let's plug it in and see what happens. We got power? Hey, yes we do. All right, so the CB's done. Got it mounted here. It's on a nice rubber base, which is good. We got it tight for sure. It's just a short little antenna. It's hooked up here. Oh. So we just turn it on, and yeah, she's a cooking for some reason. I think the needle's stuck. Yeah. Well, as long as it works, I don't really care. I don't know how much I'm actually going to use it, but that's a champ, but I don't think that's going to be permanent, but we're just going to use that for now. There's a couple more things I would like to add to the stack, but as time constraints happen, we'll just have to see. There is a couple more things I'm going to add, like I do have a scanner, which I'm going to put in here, which I think will just be fun, and a little Bearcat. I can just hang it somewhere. And I'd like to put the signal box in, because I do want to get the strobes working. I think it'd be fun. So I think we're going to clean up here. It's supposed to rain here in a couple of hours, so I'm going to clean up here. I might get started on that strobe thing, but we'll just have to see. So, well, I just learned something interesting about flex tape. I got the floor done up, and I'll tell you this, if you ain't on it, it's a little tougher than one would realize, but it got everything covered up. I'll tell you this, though, the minute it touches something, you better just be happy that where it's at, because the minute it touches something, it's there. That's just kind of it. On a side note, I discovered the LiQWYDs are still hooked up. So I think this is probably where I'm going to leave the video and let it end. As you saw, I did get the LiQWYDs work, but I only got it through just direct power. I need to figure out how to run it through a circuit and a switch, and some way that I can actually just fast disconnect it. Because truthfully, I'd like to be able to disconnect the power, that way it doesn't get accidentally left on or nothing gets drained. That's kind of my thoughts behind that. But another problem I'm having, and why I decided not to do it on this video, and the next video we're going to hook all of that stuff up, is because I have to build a wiring harness. I've got to draw a schematic, because the back half of it, where I hooked the strobe box up, everything is hooked up from there because they unplugged that, but everything on the inside has been cut. So I can't use the wires on the inside because I have no idea which wires they are. There's no schematic for that. And I believe it's a Ford wiring harness, and I believe Ford did the upfitting. But the problem that you have there is, while Ford did run the harness and the wigwags and did all the main stuff, a lot of this stuff is still up to, you know, the department who bought it. It's up to their discretion. So I don't know if they had a Code 3 box in there, a Wayland box in there, a Federal box in there, a Smith & Wesson makes a lot of police stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff in there, and they all had different hookups depending on the wants and needs of the specific department that had the car. So I can put the box in there and then hook everything up, but I still have to make a wiring harness from the box forward to the switched power. I'm trying not to confuse you here, but basically if I want it to work, I can hook everything up, and from the box back, it'll work fine. But the box forward, yeah, I've got to hook up the power and the switches and stuff of that nature. But I've got a couple of boxes that I'm going to play with, and tonight, before I get ready to head out, you know, here in a couple of days, I'm going to put together a plan and a wiring harness, and hopefully when I get back, what is this, March, April, May, about the end of April, when I get back home, we can put it all together. Because truthfully, when I get home at the end of May, the first part of June, I'm going to be gone a couple extra days from there, because we have to basically, I've got to be on the road by the 10th, because I'm going to be home. I'm going to do the oil change and all that, leave on the 11th and 12th to get down there. I'm going to go see some friends on the way, most likely. And the event starts the morning of the 13th. So I need to be there the night before, or at least there that morning. That's the plan. But we'll figure that out. Anyhow, that's it for now. I hope this hasn't been too, but I try to make it interesting. I just don't want to make it too long. Much less unlike what I'm rambling on now. So I'll just cut it here and say, hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I hope you're getting something out of these videos. I enjoy making them. I try to make them interesting, but hopefully the last two haven't been too mundane. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all later, and hopefully next video we'll have all the disco lights going. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next video.